Hello, how's everyone doing? If you like the stream, be sure to subscribe, not subscribe, but turn on notifications so you're aware that I go live. Thank you.
Hello again, friends! And you are our friends, and welcome back to another edition of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru right here.
This is the Jim Cornette Experience.
In much of the greater United States. Some of you are having a good time in the sun, but we are here with another batch of questions, and of course some reviews and lots of other hijinks.
He's a wrestling historian, basically.
Away from wrestling.
A lot of knowledge about the sport.
The great Brian Last, and of course, the star of the drive-thru, Mr. Jim Cornette.
Well, after that lackluster introduction, I got some things you could do away from wrestling I could bring up.
Okay.
We won't go into that right now. I'm in a cranky mood. You don't know this because I saved this news for when we were to get your legitimate reaction when we're on the air here in front of the people. I asked about your trials and tribulations. I didn't tell you any of mine. We're recording a little bit later in the day than normal. I've already had a very trying day, a trying time here, Brian Last. I'll have you know. I just had to, I barely go anywhere. I barely go anywhere. But yet I just had to run down to the convenience store just to get a loaf of bread, right? And I get in, I always lock Black Beauty, always lock the truck. But I was fumbling with the mask and the cold wind chill and the teens and whatever, and I go in, I'm only in there 2 minutes. And I come out, as I'm coming out the front door, what do you think I saw, Brian Last? I saw some guy driving off in my truck.
Get the fuck out of here.
But I'll tell you what, it's not going to be hard to find him and find out who it is, because I got the license number.
Someone stole your truck?
Take your time. That's what our enemies are doing.
Oh my god.
Oh, God damn it. All right, it's one of those days. You're going to have a hard time reining me in today there, cowboy. I just want you to know that. I'm not taking much seriously today.
You had me. I thought someone stole your truck.
Think about that for a second.
1 second, hold on.
License number.
Well, I got that at the end, but I thought you were trying to make light of the situation. I was hoping someone stole your truck and we'd get a couple
You
of
were
weeks
hoping somebody...
It would be great for the show. It would be great.
Good son of a bitch. I hope somebody comes in and steals your dog, Swami. How's that?
How dare you? Do not wish any harm on one of my kids. How dare you? I've never done that to Harley Quinn. That's ridiculous. My point is, we've not had Vigilante Jim Cornette on the show yet. And Jim Cornette in his ninja outfit chasing after whoever stole his truck is the greatest thing we could ever do on the air.
You see me doing the Forrest Gump run down the street. Come back here, you son of a bitch.
So get ready.
Who's that man? I don't know. He's wearing a shirt with his own face on it.
He's run 30 yards now. He seems to be slowing down. Wait a minute, he's clutching his chest. Holy, he's down on his knees. Now he looks as pale as the picture of himself on his t-shirt. We need to say happy birthday today. Happy birthday to John Fell's mother. John Fell in Baltimore, his mother, it is her birth. Well, I don't know when you're going to be hearing this, it might not be, but as we're talking about it, pie cracky, it sure enough is. And I would like to say happy birthday to Mrs. John Fell Sr. And the reason is because John told me, he emailed me and told me that it was his mother's birthday and he didn't bother to include his mother's name. And I've tried to search my memory banks, but I'm older than I used to be. So happy birthday, Mrs. John Fell Sr.
Happy birthday. Have a nice trip.
See you next fall. All righty, so you're ensconced in the new Last Manor.
Never think what the future holds, sir.
The whole place. As a matter of fact, that's what was the matter with the
Sigma
stock
will
market
guide
yesterday.
me to it.
It dropped 1,100 points because there was a rumor that you were pulling
My
out of that
struggle
purchase
will
of that
end
massive
only
estate
with my
there.
death.
And
And
then
my
once that they
soul
found that you
in
were actually in
Sigma's
the
car.
thing, and you were going through with the deal,
Someone
and the
must
economy
walk
wasn't
it,
going to crash,
and I do
it shot
so
back up
gladly.
another 1,100 points.
best thing about being busy is you don't even notice when the stock market goes completely off the rails, but the worst thing is you don't get to really take advantage of the buying opportunity because you're busy.
What? There was a buying opportunity for fucking 7
I don't
minutes.
want to hurry,
This
but
is
we've got
ridiculous. It was ridiculous, as Corey Macklin would have said. It started out the day, dropped 1,100 points, picked up 1,100 points, and ended, what, fucking 50 positive or whatever. The buying opportunity for anything was about 7 minutes in between 1 and 107, I think. I'm not sure that, I don't know that we need to be buying anything at this point, except possibly canned goods. You know, that's another thing I always wanted. I've gotten, Brian Last, I'll have you know, a lot of the things that I wanted when I was a child. I always wanted my old room in the castle here, lined with shelves to hold all of my items. I've gotten a variety of things I wanted.
Tell
But
me,
another
Grover,
thing that I
have
wanted
you considered
was
striving
a
for the order?
bomb shelter slash
Which
concrete dugout slash secret room under the house, like the guy in the Twilight Zone episode had, when all of his neighbors scoffed at him and laughed at him. Ah ha 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 ha. And then the shit was on, and the bombs were, as Terry Gordy said one time on Smoky Mountain Wrestling Television, the bombs are fixing to fall. And then everybody was trying to beat the door down of his goddamn bomb shelter. I always liked the way that the canned foods and items were stacked so nicely on the shelves, and they had thought of everything. They had the radio and blankies and bedding material, all the things to read. Every once in a while when I was a kid, a good nuclear fucking incident, if you had one of those rooms like that, that'd be fun. Time off from school, sit there and read. Sort of like my other favorite Twilight Zone episode, Timing Up at Last with Burgess Meredith in the bank vault. I always sympathized and empathized with Burgess in that episode, because the shrewish wife and the bossy boss and the outside world wouldn't let him read his fine books and publications. So he'd go down to the bank vault, and then boom, they dropped the bomb. The only thing is his tie was ruffled up. And then he has all the time in the world to read all the books he wants when he finds the public library. And then, of course, he bends over to pick up a book and breaks his glasses, can't see a goddamn thing. And there you go. Fuck you, Burgess. Thanks for coming.
Okay. I thought you were blaming Burgess Meredith.
No. It just, fate, kismet, karma came down upon Burgess Meredith, courtesy of Rod Serling. I always felt bad for him about that. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. The bomb shelter in the basement. That would always been a cool. I may put that in next. There is going to be some work done on the castle here when the weather gets better, that may necessitate us recording on off hours because of the drilling and the preparing, but I haven't got to the basement room yet. I got a crawl space, but there's those nasty lumps all over it. I can't make it flat anymore. There's about 5 or 6 lumps down there, about 6 feet long and 2 feet wide, that I can't flatten out.
Who's from
So
Jersey?
happy birthday.
Who's from Jersey now?
Hey, I'll have you know that my crawl space is off of free.
All right.
Had it checked. I've got a couple of emails here. Since I told you you're going to have a hard time containing me today, let's get this out at the start here.
I have to enjoy the sight and sound of you two every
I just
single
got an email
day,
from
and
Joshua.
it drains my
Listen to
sanity.
this.
Apparently,
Spectrum,
I'm not as good at
that's them
shutting out
again,
the world as I
has
used
to be the dumbest fucking group of twat waffles on God's green earth. Super long story short, they charged me for a bunch of shit when my dad died that they shouldn't have. And after months of arguing and getting a runaround, they sent me a refund, not to my bank account,
You going to
but
hang
on a
around
check
all day?
written out to my dead father.
Oh,
Spectrum, folks.
that
They ought to
sucks.
call it speculum. They're searching your anal cavities for more ways to probe you. I'll tell you what, you don't need to be, you don't even need to have anal cavities or glands or anything to get involved in this. How's that for a transition? Have we told the people yet? Apparently not, because I've been doing all the talking. That the auction, my 1982 Wrestling All-Stars trading cards at Heritage Auctions, the auction closes this Friday, January 28th, and I'm not sure what time, so if you want to see the cards or place a bid or get more information, get on JimCornette.com right now. The banner on the home page for the trading cards, you can click right on it. It will go to the listing.
I cannot.
The
Not until my penance
high
is
grade
done.
set includes the
I
Hogan
must set the
card, the
lead
Andre
right.
card, all
The
the
lead is
cards
really
in
that
the
important.
first set,
The
complete set of
lead
36.
is everything.
The most highly
It's a
prized
balance that
set
must
of
be
trading
preserved.
cards
And
in the
you
modern
did
wrestling
something to
era
upset
today.
it.
And somebody actually emailed me to say, Jim, are these really yours? I want to know, before and I said, yes, they are. That is the ones. They are mine. They've been in
Sienna,
the vault
they're
for,
waiting for you.
well, it's been 40 years.
Hello?
This is their anniversary. I should have got them a card. Anyway, you can get my cards.
Apparently,
JimCornette.com,
Alicia's
click on the
sneaking
banner,
around
Heritage
looking for the
Auctions, the
Skittergate,
Wrestling All-Stars
which
trading
suits
cards.
me
The
fine, 'cause it means
auction
she's not looking
ends
for me.
this coming Friday the
Only
28th.
she needs a distraction to get the job done. I
Are you
told
gonna miss
Lona
it?
the old
Are you gonna
biddy's
miss
quite
having an
distracting
auction?
enough, but I think he so the rest of us are
no,
off to
'cause
ring
I'm
the bells
gonna be
in the
working
Temple
with
of
them on an
Sigmar.
ongoing basis on a number of things that we've talked about. Just when I get time, there's some things in the vault of a variety of genres that Heritage is interested in, whether it be comic and related stuff like that,
falls
or
to
just
us to
pop
provide
culture
the
stuff in
distraction.
general. And there's a few very vintage things that from the early 1900s I've got that haven't been out of the box in a while. So we're going to have an ongoing relationship. But these are the end of the trading cards, though.
Bringers of
Does that answer your
plague,
question?
take
I
that
don't even remember what my
pestilent
question was, so yes.
Yes, you don't know what it... Well, good. Then that way, I just wish you'd forget about your questions all the time and I could just answer what I wanted. Did I tell the people about the big event? That is what I do, honestly, anyway, isn't it? The St. Valentine's Day Massa cameos are taking place. They go on sale Sunday,
Above,
February
and most
6th at
welcome it
noon
is.
Eastern Time. And again, like the Christmas cameo chaos, it's however many that we can fulfill that week. Hotchkiss has cleared his schedule for 2 days that week, and we're going to do the cameos then. So, jump right in. Saturday, not Saturday, but Sunday, February 6th at noon Eastern. JimCornette.com, that shiny new website, and click on the cameo button. It'll take you straight to my page. And as I said, we're going to take as many as we can fulfill that week before we cut them off. So get your sweetie for Valentine's Day. And Hotchkiss is ready to go, and so are Aunt Fanny and Uncle Felcher. Brian, I'll have you know, for the big reopening of the Cornette's Collectible Store at JimCornette.com that people have been nagging me and nettling me and browbeating me about because they have money in their hands. They want T-shirts in exchange, or DVDs, or copies of Iron Curtain, or autograph pictures, or post-Cornette membership certificates. All these things will go on sale on Saturday, February 12th at JimCornette.com. We're opening the store back up. Hotchkiss has met with the fine folks at Ship Station. Fanny and Felcher have decided which side they're going to stand on to use their one arm each to the best of their proclivities. And you're going to be able to... The idea is, obviously, there's nothing that's going to sell out like instantaneously, folks. So you don't need to jump right on this thing. Everything will be there. We invite you to visit slowly and carefully from Saturday, February 12th. Pick everything up that you want. But once that we get a baseline here, the store will stay open for all those items because Fanny and Felton are going to be doing some packing, and Hotchkiss is going to be doing some the shipping with the labels. So all I have to do is sign stuff.
Now, Plus, BTS permission today on stage LA. And now, offer videos until 2019.
The idea is to make it where people can get their merchandise in a couple of weeks instead of a couple of months. And figures will always back up because I'm still signing those and it's still thousands at a time. But the average merchandise should be able to reach everyone more quickly. And last time we opened up, that was an issue where there was so much pent-up demand, Brian. It was like the dike was ready to burst.
Can you believe this asshole's still the Postmaster General? I don't know why. What you just talked about made me think about postage and mailing stuff and delays and shipping. Can you believe this guy's still the Postmaster General?
I just didn't know he was a dyke.
Not feeling great.
Marcus, I've got his
That's not
press
what I
by
said,
Scott.
ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be
It was
fine.
an awkward transition.
Jim Cornette owns that dice.
Healing drop.
Speaking of action figures, I'll stick my finger in. And speaking of action figures, we're going to have we better start talking about those. Some exciting
Nothing we can
action
do for these
figure news
neophytes.
coming in the
Should
month
press
of
on.
February that should tickle everybody's taint.
Fire rod. Oh.
Hiding in the shadows.
Well, it's your show. Brian, far be it for me to try to direct the fucking activity.
Never, of course. But
Yes,
we have
ma'am.
lots of
Somewhere
questions.
close.
Lots and lots
I
and
do,
lots of
however,
questions.
have from Jacked Up Jeremy Bagley,
Catch up
who
quickly,
has
Sergeant.
been a frequent contributor not only to great charities across America on behalf of the Colts Cornet, but also to this program as far as material and written correspondence coming in. And Jeremy wanted to take a swing at the Corny Awards. Would you like to hear some of Jeremy's Corny Awards?
Oh, I don't know. Last week he did the 40 awards. I thought that was the end of the 40 awards. I realize now this is just an ongoing thing where people submit their 40 awards and we don't get 40 awards.
There's no corny end to the Corny Awards, just like there's no end to the Dundee. There's no Mifflin.
Of course, my
Hey,
Don't let it shoot you.
goddamn
My faggot.
What'd you think of the What'd you think of the Dundies?
I love the Dundies, and I'm now free Bratton. I've seen more of him now, and including the one where somebody was leaving, so he circulated the office card. Sorry you're leaving, we'll next see you go. And everybody put $2 in it, and then you see him go in the elevator. He comes out of the elevator, he sticks his money in his pocket, throws the part in the trash. But anyway, so Jacked Up Jeremy, that's the Corny Awards that you just shit on already.
Kill them all.
He's actually a really good guy.
Now you put him over, and then you have dubiously pitched to his awards. Like, let's see if they're any good. Well, anyway, Jim and Brian, he starts out. He may lose one of those salutations in the future and just address me from now on. Once again, I'm here to try and help make up for some horrible contributions to the legacy of the Corny Awards. See, he agrees with you. There have been some off-brand suggestions in the past. Jacked Up Jeremy writes, the Dr. William H. Cosby Jr. Award for the person most likely to put you to sleep. The winner is, actually, collectively, the winners are the Puddin' Gang.
Now listen, I got to stick with you.
Oh, wizards, flame. Let us know more.
Cosby was drugging and raping women. Let's not put that on anyone in the Puddin' Gang. That's not even funny. Let's not do that.
That's not even funny.
It's just
We
so
have a blight storm now.
What do you think of Falcon the Sandman?
The Ted Bundy Driving Award. Go
Dr.
what is this?
Somnambulism.
Ratatoga.
How about the next one? Possibly maybe more staid and to your liking, the Donald J. Trump Award for Daughter Obsession, previously known as the Hulk and Brooke Hogan Award. He gives this one the winner, the 16-time world champion Ric Flair. I don't know. Come on now. At least Charlotte's talented. Like Brooke and or lips Vincent Kennedy McMahon for his upper lips. I don't know that they're swollen as much as unnaturally made up with color to compensate for the lack of blood coursing through his system.
The other thing too is as the face gets more sunken in, the lips are going to stick out a little.
That's true. But at least he's not got to the point yet like Rick Knox, the corpse referee, as we mentioned last week. Somebody enjoyed that simile, that comparison that I made. I said the skin hanging off of it looks like a popped balloon. Jeremy continues. You might like this one, Brian. The David Hasselhoff Award for the wrestler who was a worldwide success despite carrying a talentless blonde with big tits.
What is this?
David Hasselhoff success despite carrying a talentless blonde with big tits. MJF for surviving his rival with Jericho.
That is funny. Although, with all these awards named in the 90s, like, what is this? David Hasselhoff?
Jeremy's of a certain age group. That was, no, Golden never won anything from OJ. The Phillips Milk of Magnesia Award for the little shit that's hard to get rid of. The winner, Marco Stunt.
He's not on the show anymore.
Well, this was a previous email from the end of the year. And the 205 Live Award. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, finally, drum roll please. No, not your drum roll. It'll never quit. The 205 Live Award, Triple H. Not for wrestling, it's what his credit score will be when Stephanie divorces him in 2022. Oh my God. Well, there you go, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Seriously, a very, very nice guy.
This one is going to be bad.
Small accounts. Does a lot of great work, charitable work. But there's a lot of out-of-work comedians right now.
There certainly are. That's probably a good example of why we just read. Right there. You know the first time I heard somebody say that, you know who it was? No, Bill Watts.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
Well, in person, I mean, you know, because when we started doing interviews, well, I started in Mid-South. They had been doing it long before I got there. But when I got there, and we started doing interviews at Shreveport at Channel 3.
There's no way.
Wednesdays,
There's no way.
the local promos. You know, when Dundee and all the Memphis guys came in, we started jousting back and forth. And Dog was a pretty good promo, and Duggan was a pretty good promo. And, you know, so the promo level kind of came up a little bit. Well, there was poor Nikolai. And I love Nikolai. He had that thick accent for real. It was not that's the exact way he spoke to you. He was the nicest man in the world. But the accent was not a word. And because he was, where the fuck was he from? He's not Russian, but he was, oh geez. From one of those smaller countries with a Slavia or I don't think it was Yugoslavia, I don't know, Czechoslovakia, wherever. The point is, he had a thick accent. English was his second language, but he came out trying to do some, you know, fucking funny promos. Like, and Butch Reed had been going around, and that's when Buddy Landell was hanging around and being his stooge. And Butch would say, hey, buddy, you know how many chances that Rock and Roll Express got of beating us? How many, Butch? Two. Slim and none, and Slim just left town, right? So one day, fucking Nikolai is doing his local promo for Lafayette, Louisiana, or whatever, and he says, let me say to you, Jim Ross, that Terry Taylor have two chances to beat me, Slim and a none, and a Slim has walked away from town. And Watson, cut! 10,000 comedians out of work, Nikolai, and you're over here telling jokes. I didn't hire a Russian comedian. Yes, sir. Point taken, sir. Yes, sir. But he was trying, but it wasn't the same. But he was a funny guy in person, but he couldn't be Nikolai Volkov, the wrestler, and be telling jokes, which was a very good lesson for everybody to learn there. That's some of the lessons you learn from Bill Watts.
Can't have all the heels.
Well, we're
being
inside
funny
Castle
and cool.
Drakenfels, which you might think is a good thing.
Well, I don't think he had
But
to
it's
worry about
Castle
being cool with that
Drakenfels.
delivery.
Ain't much
It
good
was
about
funny,
that, whichever way
definitely.
you look at it. The only silver
it was more
lining is that
funny
it gets
to
us
us than it
closer
was
to whatever
probably to the
maniac's
people.
running loose in here.
Did
Actually,
you? Here's
now I think
something
about
I've
it,
been
that
waiting to
doesn't sound
ask
very
you
good neither.
since I talked to you briefly right after we finished the experience this past weekend, and I told you what I was going to have for dinner, and you accosted me with
We'll have
another
to
one
find
of
a way
these
through.
statements that you made that I couldn't believe that you're a grown adult man, successful in business, graduate of a major university, and you said these words to me, especially from the part of the country that you're from, and you have inhabited and cohabited and haunted for the past all of your life. I said, Brian, we're going to have some homemade cheesesteaks tonight, and you said, I've never had a cheesesteak. And I said, what?
Listen up! That's a Kazaki
And you started, and I started to admonish you, and you just said, save it for later. But I want to confront you right here, in front of all the people. Can you honestly say to me that you have never eaten, as many times as you've been to Philadelphia, as much time as you've spent in Jersey, you've never had a cheesesteak?
First things first, the major university I graduated from was Nassau Community College. Second, no, I've never had a cheesesteak. Never appealed to me. I don't really like cheese or Velveeta or whatever that crap is. And yeah, when I used to go down to SCW, I would come out with some people. They would want to go eat at one of those dumps that have the cheesesteaks, and I would just hang out and talk and stuff. But I never ate anything. I never ate anything. They made good food.
I'm a winning washer!
When I was at ECW, I don't know what they are now.
And then I just see ECW crew coming in. Hey, let's get out the kennel ration. Let's get rid of these real quick.
Why have a cheesesteak if I know I'm back on the road to New York and I can get
Wait a no. Stop it! You're telling me that you're too hoity-toity to eat Velveeta or whatever that is, and we'll talk about the cheese on cheesesteak in a second. And you don't want a cheesesteak which is sliced high-quality beef and onions, which are vegetables that are good for you, and mushrooms, which are vegetables that are good for you, and a delicious coating of whichever cheese, or whether it's the cheese whiz, which you don't have to get that, you can get whiz without nothing, or the Velveeta, as you say, but provolone, a good Italian cheese, a good Italian stock and heritage. Provolone has been in the Italian family since Baron Provolone married his daughter off to the Earl of Cheese in the 1400s. And you can have that provolone is great for cheesesteaks. It's melty and gooey. Or you can do what I did. And you can have the provolone.
Oh, I get it.
In St. Louis, we had cheesesteaks homemade with sliced beef and onions and peppers and mushrooms and Provel cheese melted all over the top of it to make it taste so good. You can have a variety of cheese, but the point is, you would rather skip wholesome, good quality bakery bread, sliced beef, wholesome vegetables, and a nice tasty cheese. You don't have bypass that to go eat a tube of potted meat from Nathan's hot dog establishment, where you don't even have it. Not only do you not know what's in it, but the way that they process it, you can't even recognize it. Is it beef? Is it chicken? Is it pork? Is it turkey? Is it Dalmatian? You're not sure. It's a plethora of potpourri, all with a tube to make it look like a Dalmatian's dick.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we also print that, and that, and that, and that too? Can't forget about that, or that either. So next time you think print, remember, when you use Vistaprint, the print abilities are endless.
That's what you'd rather.
Is this Jim Cornette saying this or Stan Lane? I don't know.
Well, I learned a lot from the Gangster of Love. He didn't like the gimmicks in some of those tube sausages either.
We're not fighting out.
But a Nathan's hot dog on the side of the turnpike, you're gonna turn your nose up at a high quality, even a homemade cheesesteak filled with succulent goodness.
I would turn down most things for a good Nathan's hot dog and some Nathan's French fries. Back in the day, they used to have the best corn. The best corn on a cob ever.
Corn?
They would just put in like a vat of butter, and then when you would ask for it, it was just the most delicious thing of all time.
But who's doing their menu? How does corn go with hot dogs?
Because
hot dogs and corn on the cob?
Without knowing too much, I believe Nathan Handworker was his name, and he had a shop in Coney Island, and that was one of the things that they had on the boardwalk for the people that were hanging out on the beach was corn and hot dogs. So when he had other locations off the boardwalk, they included many of the popular menu items from Coney Island.
Well, then why isn't it Nathan's famous hot dogs and corn on the cob?
Because I think there's a bias against corn on the cob. People don't accept it as a treat, as a snack. They treat it as just like some, every now and then we'll grill one. I mean, that's really sad. It's delicious.
Well, it doesn't go with hot dogs anyway. Nobody sits down and says, I'd like hot dogs and corn on the cob for a side if you go to a barbecue place.
Exactly, they go together. They go together at a barbecue, so they go together.
Not a Nathan's hot dog at a barbecue place.
And I want to go back to what you said about these cheesesteaks. I'd be interested in trying one without cheese. It sounded good with the mushrooms and the onions and some steak. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I like a pastrami sandwich. I don't know if this is going to be better than a pastrami sandwich.
How can you have a cheesesteak without cheese?
Just don't put cheese
on it. Because that's half the word.
But you keep focusing on this word gooey for cheese, and that's not what appeals to me in any way about cheese. The gooiness, that actually turns me off, I think, it's you.
So you'd rather just have it all cold and dry and dusty,
was it?
and have it
Be right back.
dust and shit and rust?
No, I don't even know what that means. No, mozzarella cheese I'm okay with. It's not gooey, and it's on pizza.
Melty and warm and tasty. It's not cold and dry and blockish. Kind of oozes around on the surface that it's on, whether the cheesesteak or the burger or the pizza or whatever.
Can you request like just a little bit of cheese? Or did this?
Well, I guess you could, but why the fuck would you?
Because I don't want cheese on my food.
No,
it doesn't taste that good on most things. It tastes great on pizza.
I guess you can request a blowjob, but don't let me come, and that would be something you could do, but I don't know that anybody's ever done it.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that in Philly either.
Well, I tell you, you can get the first part fairly quickly down there. All right. Is this your program?
That's what I've heard.
What's on it?
Well, we have lots of things. We have questions. We have maybe some reviews, and perhaps even we'll give people some thoughts about how they can work off these hot dogs and work off these cheesesteaks, because we all want to stay in shape here in the new year.
You do need to work out and stay in shape in the new year. Folks, I'll tell you what, if you've been working too hard and not working out enough,
Do I
and
know
you want to
what
know
an
how to
elf
get in shape,
thinks?
we know.
No
We
one
can tell you, and you don't have to go anywhere, because Echelon Fitness will bring the gym home to you. Whether it's for a New Year's resolution or doctor's orders or just your better half says you're a disgusting blob of flesh and you're repulsive and I can't stand the sight of you. Whatever motivation, huh?
Does someone say that to you?
No, but I've seen a lot of people out in public, and I would think that people are hearing that probably on a regular basis these days.
Awesome.
So therefore, no, they didn't say it to me. Who would say it? Stacy or Harley? Neither one of them want to fucking open that can of worms, and nobody else is even going to speak to me. But nevertheless, Echelon Fitness is the affordable way to get the workout equipment, the workout community, and an instructor's motivation right in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Regardless, if you could be in somebody else's home, you could probably do it there too. You might be in a home, whether a state-sponsored home, a county home, a work farm home, something like that. You can do all this stuff anywhere you're at
I
home.
won't weary you
Echelon
with the history
Fitness's
lesson,
fitness
but the
app
rock bloods
provides
have
you
found
thousands of
themselves a
live and
long-forgotten
on-demand classes
artifact
with
of
great music
terrifying power.
from your
They're digging the
favorite
bloody
artists,
thing up as we speak,
like the
forcing
Strawberry
clan
Alarm
Festa
Clock, as I
slaves to
mentioned
do the
before,
tunneling.
and
Even
also,
worse,
I believe, the
damn
Andrews
monolith's
sisters.
currently beyond
The
our
Andrews
means to
sisters.
The
destroy.
Andrews sisters, hey,
However,
the Boogie Woogie
Alicia,
Echelon Boy and
clever
Company
woman,
B.
has at
With
least
Echelon
found a
Fitness,
way
you
to
can
bury
work out
the foul
anytime,
thing.
day
So,
or night,
listen
and
closely.
crush your fitness goals. Pick the class, climb the leaderboard, cheer each other on, boo some of the people you don't like, wish them ill, hope they don't make their goals so you'll feel more positive about yourself even if you fail yourself. And give it your all, even though sometimes your all, folks, just is not good enough. However, at least you can say you tried. Echelon Fitness's world-class instructors are supportive, engaging, and fun, especially when they're being paid. They really know how to get you moving. And the best part, the Echelon Fitness full range of affordable workout equipment, including stationary bikes. Don't expect to get to the store and back, but you will get out of breath. Smart rowers. You don't even have to be able to swim for these things. Sleek fitness screens. I'm not actually sure what you do with a sleek fitness screen. And, of course, the ever-popular auto-folding treadmill. The treadmill always gets a big hand. Plus, they're all connected to provide the Echelon Fitness experience and round-the-clock classes for the family include full-body workout programs. Some of these full-body things, do you need to be over 18, Brian? Or can you be 16 with parents' permission in some states?
Why don't we just recommend 18 to play it safe?
Well, there you go, but one membership covers a family of 5. If you've got 5 people over 18 in your family, you need to kick somebody the fuck out. But right now, for a limited time only,
Time for a
podcast
potion.
listeners get up to $650 off the MSRP for some of this fine equipment. Get this exclusive discount. Text the word DRIVE, D-R-I-V-E, to 818181. DRIVE to 818181. DRIVE again to 818181 to get up to $650 off the MSRP. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. 818181. Boy, it's coming back up too.
All right, well, let's move past whatever it is that you hate. And of course, we support Echelon, a wonderful company. But Jim, I do want to get some questions, but I'm sure you may have a thing or two you watch. Why don't we get this out of the way first?
Oh boy, it won't take long there. I did try to peruse the offerings over the weekend from the WWE because we wanted to give everybody equal time. We wanted to, give everybody a chance to shine. And last week we looked at a lot of so over the weekend we had Friday Night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. Although they ought to really call SmackDown WWE Letdown because that's the feeling that I get. At the end of the thing, I realized that that's how when I start this show, I feel like a kid being made to do his homework. Go to your room and you can't finish the cake, leave, and have ice cream till you watch SmackDown. They had a great
Sight to warm my cockles with it.
Roman Reigns to establish their business at the Royal Rumble. We talked about they confused their main angles on Raw last week because they had Seth against Lashley. But here they did a Seth and Reigns package, and the only thing you saw from Raw last Monday was the Usos super kicking Seth. You didn't know why he was in the ring because they cut out all the Seth and Lashley stuff because they knew it was confusing the issue. But the first segment, the Usos come out and get in the ring, and they do the in-ring introduction of Reigns. And here comes Roman Reigns, and he's doing a long entrance, and he's milking the crowd. And, I mean, he's a star, and I don't want him to rush. I get mad at people for rushing, but by the time that he put the microphone to his mouth to say, Nashville, acknowledge me, we were 8 minutes into this show. And it wasn't all that nice package. It was the open and the announcers and the interminable entrance and the Usos introduction and the blah, blah, blah. Everything just takes so fucking long. So then he says, acknowledge me. And one of the Usos pitched to another video of Roman Reigns highlights that they showed on the screen. And it's him beating everybody, one after another, every day in the company. That's great. That's the way you get over. And this package was incredible. What a video. And they were showing the clock increasing. Bing, bing, bing. 508 days as champion. Great package. But then I'm sitting there realizing the people in the arena are sitting there, and this show has come on the air live now 12 minutes ago. And all the people that paid to see the show live have seen
This is the past story.
is an entrance and shit on television.
It's like going to the movies, and every now and then they run out and do a little show, and then it's back to the movies.
It's Rocky Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then 12 minutes into the program, Roman Reigns lifts the microphone to his mouth again, and Seth Rollins' music hits. And here comes Seth, and he's wearing Reginald Van Gleason's bathrobe. Google it, kids, it'll be hilarious. I gotta say that Seth seems to be having more fun with this than that Monday Night Messiah thing, which was dismal. Remember the particulars now, because that's been a couple of years, 17 turns ago. But remember when they had him on the edge of being like a mega-level babyface when he was coming back from some injury that people knew about, and he's had 4 or 5 different persons. I don't understand everybody. He changes shows, changes gimmicks, changes personalities, changes presentation. And this, again, there's been a couple times where you said, holy shit, like outside, this is just, he's surrounded by
You stink stronger than you try.
and it's not exciting.
Hit me harder.
He's a heat-getting smarmy fucker here with these outfits
Yeah,
and
like
the ways
Snowballs,
the
I wasn't
promos. Maybe, can they just let him do this then for a while? Does he have to have a split personality again? So, anyway, he tried to stir up a little dissension between the Usos and Roman Reigns, saying that they're the longest reigning tag team champions, so they ought to be being celebrated instead of all these packages and everything for Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah. But they're holding Roman Reigns up just like me and Mox did. And he called him Mox.
Save your flames
Of course,
for the
then,
bowl.
all the smart fans went to tizzy about it.
And he was never called that ever on WWE TV.
Yes, but I think probably Rollins he might have slipped or slept on purpose, but one or the other. Reigns doesn't sell tickets easily that people say to him, and he shouldn't, because he's that badass. He's almost unflappable. And he says the Usos won't interfere, and Rollins says, well, how about a tag team match tonight with me and somebody against the Usos, and if they lose, they're barred from ringside at the Royal Rumble.
Vile
And Reigns ain't thrilled about that. You see it on his face. He does a great job with the expressions, but he's thinking about it. And one of the Usos jumps in and accepts. And then he's not happy.
Cross this one. You're mine.
Well, who's Seth Parker going to be? Of course, here comes Owen's music, and he comes out. And then Reigns says, well, cut that stupid music when you got then Seth Rollins, you lose your match at Royal Rumble, and I vacation until WrestleMania. At that point, did anybody think that was going to happen? That he was just going to, okay, I'll just skip the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. So, they have to give, obviously, matches on television. Well, I don't say they have to give matches on television if people are interested in, because they're not. They're supposed to. But when you put that stipulation on it, then you're just basically basically say, here's
What a trick. Here
that's
is
a lazy
David.
way of getting into a TV match that they think might get a number in the middle of the show or the end of the show or whatever. I don't believe that stipulation, but nevertheless, Rollins accepted it, and after that, seriously, we're 20 minutes into the show just to get there.
I can kill even more.
And then we come back and they had Happy Corbin and Marshall Jones in the ring. They had a match with Kofi.
Backstabber.
And did you see that after that they announced Summer Rae was introduced at ringside. She's coming back from Royal Rumble. They went to the camera shot of her before they introduced her in the arena, right? Did you see this, or did you skip
I
this part?
did not see SmackDown this week.
You didn't see SmackDown? Well, boy, that would have been great. There's Summer Rae, and the camera goes live on her, and she looked like she was smelling a fart. She was looking around like, I don't want to be sitting here with these people. I don't want to be in this building. And then all of a sudden, you see her eyes, the eyebrows go up like somebody's cued her. We're coming to you. They're already on her. And then they start the announcement in the building, and she's smiling and doing the parade wave. Oh, boy. It was a shit-sniffing look if ever I'd seen one. Anyway, so then they rematched Natalya and Aaliyah. Remember a week or two ago, Aaliyah beat Natalya in 3 seconds. Well, this time, they went a little bit longer, but Natalya was disqualified for beating Aaliyah up. She just got her in the corner and started stomping her and beating on her and wouldn't break, and the referee disqualified. So I mean, they must have Eddie Graham working on these finishes. I've never seen such cutting edge, provocative, revolutionary wrestling finishes. My God, move over, build up, get out of the way, Bill Watts. Then after that happened, here came Xia Li, or Xia Li, or whichever Li.
Get out of here!
Xia Li. You remember Xia Li?
I was a fan of Zion.
Well, you wouldn't be now. Because now she comes out. She's going to make a save for poor Aaliyah, right? Because she's Aaliyah's big sister or whatever.
Don't enjoy
But
being
she has to
broiled
do
with
the
it.
music, and then on the way down to save the girl that's getting beat up, she has to do a martial arts routine. It's a martial, oh God, what they used to call it, a kata. You know,
On the way to the save?
she's doing it on the way down, but not only that, but now, you know, like Matt Riddle has the birds that fly out of his ass on his introduction. Well, now she has fake leaves of bright autumn colors falling from the sky and lightning shooting out of her fingertips when she's making her martial arts motion.
I gotta see this.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, the ratings for this segment shot up like double just to see this fucking bogus-ass bullshit entrance. So yes, leaves fall from the sky, lightning shoots out of her fingertips, nothing that I could detect shot out of her ass like Riddle. And then so all this has happened. These special effects, this computer-generated shit, the big save, right? She goes to roll into the ring underneath the bottom rope and got stuck under it. And they had to cut away from her for a second, and when they cut back to her, you see that she's rolled the other way and is regrouping her balance, and she stands up, confronts Natalya, does a reverse spin kick, whips it. Natalya sells it in an awkward manner because it just went right past her and fucking tumbled from the ring. That was a save for the ages. That was a Mike Furnace save right there.
Mike Furnace.
Mike Furnace. I told you that story.
Him making a save? What's that story?
Well, it's not a save but a comeback. Just the goddamn.
Here's a potion.
So Doug Furnace was a big University of Tennessee football hero, right? And the University of Tennessee volunteer football team is the biggest thing in East Tennessee on the day of a UT football game. Their stadium, Neyland Stadium, is the 6th biggest city in the state. That's how big. 100,000 people. That's how big UT football is. Doug Furnace went to college there, and later, that's why he broke into continental wrestling, rollers and blah, blah, blah. But after he back to town every so often, especially at holiday time. He still had family there, and his brother Mike, younger brother Mike, also played football at UT. But not, let's be honest, nearly the success or notoriety. Also, Mike wasn't the world's strongest man, as Doug legitimately, won that title in his powerlifting day. But he played football at UT, and that's good enough for us. Doug called me and said, hey, Mike wants to see about getting into business. I'll come down and work with him. If you guys will train him, I'll come out and work, Knoxville and Johnson City, the big shows with him. And, as a team, and let's see if we can do something. Okay.
Here, this looks like
We always got along great with Doug, and what a great guy he was, right? So we trained Mike for a little while, and that's when Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey were the Heavenly Bodies, and they worked with him. Horner worked with him a while. Mike was not a natural, right? We did a couple of angles with him on TV, just introducing him as a former UT football player, was training to be a wrestler, and of course, being the Bodies harassed him. Ed finally built up for the big Christmas Chaos tag team match, Furnaces against the Heavenly Bodies. And obviously, because Mike is green, we worked out a few spots with him to shine, but we're going to get the heat on Doug because Mike wasn't experienced enough to sell, and Doug was. And he wanted to give his brother the tag so that Mike could make the big comeback and the attention be put on him. So it's Christmas in Knoxville.
We need to kill the torture.
Here, 3,000 to whatever people it was. It's a nice crowd. And Mike gets into the first part of the action, then they get the heat on Doug. Doug sets. He's fighting for the tag. And finally, the Bodies set up for fucking Doug to get away and dive and make that hot tag. And when he tagged Mike, Mike was so excited, the people flew, they cheered, he steps to the ring and runs and flies forward and hits fucking, I think it was Dr. Tom with a flying clothesline, and he ran so fast, it was going so fucking hard, when he hit Doug with the clothesline, he bounced off of him, landed on the fucking mat, kept rolling and rolled right under the bottom rope and on the floor on the other side. From one side to the other in 3 seconds. Down, and then you see a hand coming up over the edge of the ring like he's trying to pull himself back up, and the people went. But anyway, nevertheless, we got past it. Next on the program, on WWE Letdown, Los Lotharios had a match with the Viking Raiders.
Chaos Warrior!
Then Cruella DeVille was still mad at Naomi. They showed that from Raw. And now Naomi is wrestling on SmackDown, and she had a match with Charlotte. And Naomi, the glowworm, actually, the whole fluorescent, effervescent,
now, is he?
what Dayglow phrase is, entrance kind of made me ill. And even though this was Charlotte, I was going to skip it. But then Cruella comes in, and boy, I just love her look. She is just the meanest looking woman that you could possibly imagine. She takes over as referee from Little Nose Charles Robinson and takes his shirt and puts it on. She's going to referee. And Adam Pearce is starting to get pissed off about this kind of thing going on because he doesn't feel it's befitting a WWE management person to be picking sides like this. So Charlotte shoots shots. Naomi takes over and beats the shit out of her, whatever. And finally she's in the middle of the ring, and this didn't take long. I think it took from the bell maybe 3 or 4 minutes. She goes to step into a figure 4, and Naomi kicks Charlotte into Cruella DeVille, who takes a bump to the floor. Naomi hits Charlotte with her finish, but Cruella won't count, and that makes Naomi mad, and then Charlotte got a figure 4, and Cruella just rang the bell without Naomi tapping or anything. And there was that. No, I just said you connected, Brian. That's what I was going to say.
because obviously she has some personality, but I think Pierce does a good job.
Hey, well, takes a few
authority
muscles
figure
to get
without
a
an
big
agenda.
boy to wear.
You kind of need that. Wrestling needs that. Like, just give me a pop not to be boss. Give me an authority figure without explicit agenda, just trying to get things done the right way.
He doesn't even have to be the babyface necessarily, just he would be the babyface, de facto babyface, because he would be just honest. Right? But he's not favoring anybody or doing it. That would be... Adam does a great job, except... And it's not his fault. What's he going to say? This doesn't work for me, brother. Some of the preposterous
Things he says.
things that he has to say, or the preposterous things that are done and said in front of him, that if he was a grown adult with a functioning brain,
nothing
he
else
would
will work.
fucking say, what
Beat
the
them out
fuck?
and give them a good whack.
But he can because they won't let him, but he does the best job that he's allowed to do in that. And I wish that his job was like me in TNA when I was the authority figure, and they would let me say whatever the fuck I wanted to say as long as I made all the matches they wanted me to make. Because then he could have a little more fun with it. Anyway, on SmackDown, we were about, at this point, I think somewhere around an hour 10, hour 15 in, right? And here comes Sami Zayn. And old Sami Zayn, and again, I've mentioned that the little prick can be entertaining. As El Generico, he can work his ass off. And as a babyface, his body language when he was selling, I told you this one time. I said, you're awesome
Someone give me a
at
free.
selling in a legitimate wrestling
Right
match.
here.
Tom Fury,
Give me
you're
a
selling as a
good
babyface.
Ah,
You're
no,
fucking
you
awesome.
scum. See, you also
And once
black.
that he got the Generico gimmick off of him, he could talk. And so he's got a lot going for him. And so, of course, they're doing everything they can to just say, fuck, don't anybody care about this fucking guy. They had him come out in the ring, Brian, and he's got a table set up. And because Johnny Knoxville is in the Royal Rumble, obviously for publicity, they think good publicity, and because they apparently don't care about poor old Sammy, he can look stupid. That's his thing. If he does stupid shit, look stupid, so we'll let him do it. He has to be the one to involve himself with this fucking goo. And by the way, I think I mentioned that 35 years ago when Jackass was a thing, I thought they were just as stupid then as I do now. So it's not an old man being out of touch. It's an old man remembering that he didn't like the shit from 30 years ago they did the first time.
Let's go.
So Sammy has a table full of weapons where he's going to prove that he's tougher than Johnny Knoxville because if they can tell the truth, what did Johnny Knoxville do 30 years ago with his friends? They got famous by doing a bunch of stupid, harmful shit to themselves, right?
Not enough. Neither in numbers or
He's going to do, and there's on the table, there's handcuffs, and there's
Over
Billy
here.
sticks, and there's
Easy pickings for you.
pepper
Only
spray, and there's just, I don't know, a nunchucks, whatever. But he picks up, Brad, I wish you had seen it. It apparently was supposed to be like a cattle prod-like device.
more ammunition here.
I don't know that they market these on the open market. If this was a real thing, he called it some name like the Diddlator Mach 3, the fucking Shockmaster 6000 or whatever. It honestly looked like one of those things they give old people that are confined to wheelchairs that if you squeeze the pistol grip, it grabs the can off the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So it's something like that, but it's supposedly a cattle prod-like shock stick. And to prove he's tougher than Johnny Knoxville, he's going to use this on himself. And now he's got 25 things spread out all over. Like it's got different gradations of aesthetic. And he puts it to his calf. And I swear to God, just like the Vegas electrified cage Harley, this can't go on. And I thought he was going to pick up something else off the table. But instead, he says, okay, we're going up to 2 now. He's going to use the same thing. All that other shit on the table never came into play. He puts it to level 2 and says, now I'm going to put it straight here. And he puts it to his chest. Like at level 2, he's going to shock himself in the heart. And they again play a fake sound effect over the PA system. And he fucking sells it like he shocked himself in the chest and almost falls out of the ring. And the people were booing. I couldn't tell whether they were booing because he was a heel or they were booing because they just realized they paid to get in his building. And this is what they're seeing.
Give me a good
And as he
just take a
get
swing.
himself back together,
The also blind.
here comes Johnny Knoxville. And I wrote this. Johnny Knoxville out, and so am I. Fuck this. I don't know what they did.
You need
I
patching
don't
up.
care. Wrestling, alleged wrestling program. This doofus was standing there in the middle of the ring, not only expecting us to believe that he was going to shock himself with a stun gun, but not even like the commitment that a Harley race or somebody of that nature would have had to their craft. It was a fake stun gun, and they were playing a sound effect. I don't know if Harley would have ever shocked himself with that handheld stun gun he used to carry, but he crackled a few other people's asses from time to time. But so I couldn't take this anymore. I read what happened in the main event on the internet, which was Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens against the Usos. And if the Usos win, then Seth loses his match at Royal Rumble. And if Seth and Steen won, then the Usos would be barred. Well, Seth Rollins hit the curb stomp on one of the Usos, and immediately Reigns came in out of nowhere and Superman punched him. Disqualification. He walked out. The Usos are disqualified, so they're barred at the Royal Rumble, which means they're going to interfere at the Royal Rumble. And that was SmackDown. Oh, and Kid Rock was in the crowd because it was Nashville, another of the several lunatic right-wing assholes in the WWE Hall of Fame. He was drinking a giant beer while some poor kid was sitting on his lap. And I don't know that Kid Rock has kids.
Ahead, is it?
And this didn't look anything, this kid didn't look like the other kid. I think he was trying to babyface himself. Oh, look at me. I love the children. All the little children of the world.
Well, Jim, after an awful show like that, and thank God I didn't watch it, maybe you want to sit down and talk to somebody.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I think that is a stream. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Sometimes you need somebody to talk to, or some